Out of all the planets I've visited in this solar system, this one's definitely my favorite. It's gorgeous. So when I started packing for this trip, the Chamonix hadn't showed up yet. I wasn't sure it was going to in time. So I originally packed the Intrepid 4x5. And when I went to pack my shutter release cable, I just tucked it in the case with the Intrepid. And then the Chamonix showed up. And of course I swapped the cameras out, packed the Chamonix instead, and forgot to grab the shutter release cable. So I'm in Iceland with no shutter release cable. Sucks. I've been taking the last couple days, I've been shooting exposures just by hand triggering the shutter. That's not very ideal. So I'm sitting outside of this camera store in Reykjavik waiting for it to open. Fingers crossed, hoping that they'll have a mechanical shutter release cable that I can get from them. Wish me luck. Yes! Yes! They had not just one option, but two, so I bought them both, just in case. Sweet. Super nice guy in there too. Paulin was his name. Yeah, that's Becco Camera, Professional Camera Store, or something like that is what came up in Google Maps. Highly recommend it. They got a lot of really nice stuff in there. Of course, by the time I'd realized that I was missing my cable release, I had traveled far away from the city, and it was the weekend. So there wasn't anything I could really do about it for the first few days, but continue on. And while it certainly wasn't ideal, backtracking all the way back to Reykjavik, I had nothing but time, and I'm really glad I did. Because even with as careful as I was trying to be, I did notice a little bit of camera shake on a few frames. So I consider it time well spent, and I was still just in time for my evening location, which is an amazing looking canyon right at sunset. So here's the thing. Tonight there is a strong chance for Aurora to KP6, according to the app I've got. And it's the first night that I've been here where I've got high KP values, and I've also got clear skies. So I need to go find myself somewhere to set up, because that would be super cool. I've never seen it. It would be really, really nice on this trip if I get a chance to shoot some Aurora. But I'm gonna need to find a foreground, because just having a sky doesn't work. You need to have some kind of foreground interest too. Something, anything. I mean, it would be kind of somewhat dark in the foreground anyway. I just need a cool, interesting shape, something to silhouette. Hopefully, you know, I can take a long enough exposure to get a little detail in it too, but I really just need something that's not just a flat, boring landscape, you know, with an awesome sky. So that's what I'm gonna go do. So I'm sitting roadside, shooting at this big, you know, set of bluffs. I don't know what you call it. Probably like a big volcanic butte. It's one potential candidate in case we get any Aurora tonight. Gives me some foreground. Sorry about all the road noise. I'm right next to the highway. Problem is, as cool as this butte is, I like the shape of it, and I like this side profile of it. My 16mm lens isn't quite wide enough to fit the whole thing in. So I'm trying to decide if it's okay here, if I need to move. Thing is, I can't really go much further away because there's a road here and there's vegetation and stuff over there I don't really want to walk on. All these mosses covering this volcanic rock is really, really cool. I don't want to hurt it. It's kind of one of those things where you just got to commit, you know, and just hunker down and wait and see what happens. Anyway, now I think it's the waiting game. I'm going to probably crawl in the van and wait because the bugs are just terrible out here. And then probably make myself a sandwich. With any luck, I'll catch up with you later tonight. So it's not even completely dark yet. It's dark enough I have to use my, you know, phone flashlight to light my face, but I mean, there's still light in the sky on the horizon, but already I've seen a little bit of aurora. It's not quite where I expected it, so I just kind of had to swing the camera at it and just fire. Of course, I'm not really going for like total perfect composition here. It was more or less to take a shot to make sure I'm not crazy, you know. Sure enough, yeah, there's a stripe of aurora in it, so check this out. It's probably a little hard to see on this guy. Right there, right in the center of the composition. Sure enough, just one green stripe, even right off the top of these mountains here. So I don't want to get greedy here, but I'm hoping that that's just a prelude. Either way, it's really exciting. It's the first time I've ever seen the aurora, so pretty excited either way. So I actually did start getting a little more intense aurora there for a bit. It's beautiful. It's my first time seeing it, so I don't have a lot of experience to draw from. But I wouldn't say that it was overly crazy. It was visible enough that you could see the bands of the aurora, but it didn't go completely crazy, and it lasted probably 15-20 minutes. And then I sat on it for another 20 minutes to a half hour, and I haven't seen anything since. So I don't know enough to know if it's done or if I should camp out and wait if it could come back. I'm gonna hang out and at least for a little while and see if anything else develops, but I don't know, my gut instinct tells me that it's probably done. So I think that's gonna be it, unless something spectacular tears off here in the next hour or so. I think that's gonna be all for now, so I'm gonna sign off, I think, and see you in the morning.
It was somewhere around 2 in the morning when things hit their peak, and in total I fired off a little over 100 exposures. I chose the one with my favorite sky and layered in additional exposures for more foreground detail.
So the road that goes up closer to Svartifoss is closed. The sign says something about congestion and damage to the area, probably from too many tourists. So now I have to park at the main visitor center of the national park, which I cannot pronounce. And yeah, the hike there is a couple kilometer slog uphill. It's a beautiful day for a hike, but I wasn't expecting that this morning. The Chamonix is certainly a lot lighter. I can carry the entire digital kit on my back with all 3 of my heavy All series lenses and a Chamonix and 3 large format lenses plus the 6x12 film back and a tripod. And it's probably still underweight at what the Toyo was, so I'm really happy about that right now. So I got the photographer's curse. Stark blue skies and glaring sun. Yeah, the composition's got direct sunlight in it right now. There's really only one shot. It's all about these basalt columns, this waterfall. So I made the most of it. I took a handheld shot on black and white. Or more accurately, I should say, I took a shot on the 5D Mark IV with a black and white profile. And I liked the look of that. So I went ahead and pulled the tripod out and set myself up on my 6-stop Lee ND filter, a little stopper. And I got my shutter speed down to about a half second. It just kind of looked a little better. The water coming over the falls helped smooth it out a little bit so it didn't look quite as much like a cell phone snapshot or something, you know. But that's about the best I think I can do creatively with it right now. It's just a case of, I'd never seen this before, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how high the cliffs to the side here were, and if they protected this composition, you know, and from direct sunlight like this at this time of day. I had no idea, so now that I've seen it, now I understand. I mean, there are some apps that'll help you plan that. I just didn't do my homework. Yeah. But I also didn't expect to get stark blue skies. So I was hoping to have some overcast help me out. Anything other than what I had would have been better, but I'll take it either way. It's a gorgeous place. Well worth the hike, whether or not I'm happy with the composition. It was just beautiful to see, beautiful to be there. But yeah, anything better than that or anything with the film cameras have to come back if I want anything that's any more quality than that. But now it's back to the parking area. It's a national park, so there's a little visitor center there. So I'm gonna check that out, see what there is to see. But here's that shot, and on to the next location.
My first inclination was to try to shoot wide and capture the entire column of water and the pool in the foreground. But I also experimented with a panoramic crop of just the top of the waterfall and darkened the blues to simulate a red filter.
Yokels. See, I'm trying. So I'm just outside the border of the national park now. I've parked off in an area that you can hike out to a viewpoint. It's overlooking this glacier. And it's just incredible. Well, it's really harsh though right now, as you can probably see on my face. Try not to get sunburnt in Iceland. But I'm having a little bit of a hard time trying to find compositions from the ground level anyway. Definitely not with a film camera. I really need better light for this kind of thing, instead of just direct sunlight. It's also the end of summertime, you know, I'm here too, so there's a bunch of dirt, just kind of spots where everything's melted off and it's left the debris and the glacial till, so it's just kind of dirty looking. But without any special light or anything, I'm not sure. I flew the drone earlier and took a couple shots looking down at the glacier from a higher perspective, and that was looking a lot more promising. Of course, if I had really nice soft light or something, that'd be even better, but I think it'll work for, you know, the jagged textures and what I was looking for with all the little crevasses and stuff out there to get these. It's just crazy looking. It's beautiful. When I was standing here earlier, I heard like what sounded like thunder. I think it was a glacier creaking and moving. It's pretty crazy. Keep you on your toes.
So I was on my way to another location and started getting some cloud activity up here above where I'm at, and it was casting some dappled light up across these absolutely just immense ice caps up here. And there's just so much detail up here. The shape of these mountains, and then the snow caps with the glacier runoff and stuff. It's just insane. But then I was getting good dappled light on it too, so I pulled off Roadside and I'm set up. I'm shooting a composition. I'm just panoraming this whole view here, the 6x12 back, my 150 millimeter lens. It's the first time I've used that on this trip so far, but it fit just about perfect for what I was going for here. Got the road up in the lower right corner, kind of leading in. I've been playing around with some cars and some traffic on this road here, trying to get, just a single car off in the distance, or just playing around with it and having fun. I waited till there was no traffic, and then I've added a couple cars in just to see. But the exposure's been changing a little bit here and there with the sun coming out of the clouds, but it's been about 1/15 f32, and I'm shooting Provia 100F on this one, so color reversal film. I think it'll do really well because it's only a couple stops dynamic range. The shadows are, they're not too dark, and everything's broad daylight right now, so I think it'll work pretty well. Yeah, it's a nice unexpected roadside comp. Hopeful that that turns out really well. It's honestly kind of nice to see some cloud cover. I've been getting baked all day, in the sun, and it's been not that kind of get your mind out of the gutter. Keep up reapplying the sunscreen so I don't get burnt. So it's really nice to see some shade and some interesting light, something more dynamic instead of just broad daylight. Yeah. But so far, that's 3 shots on this roll. That's half the roll used up already because I only get 6 shots on a roll of 120 film. Now I think I'm going to reserve the rest because the next location is another glacier stop. And let's go see what we can find over there. The first 2 exposures turned out pretty okay. On the third frame, I second-guessed my metering, and with the changing lighting conditions, I decided to adjust my exposure, and the sky went a little too bright. But the previous frames had enough detail, and although normally including human elements isn't really my forte, I kind of like the sense of scale that it provides with these 2 people walking and some of the cars in the distance on the road.
So I've been set up on this glacier overlook here for a while, and this guy's been having trouble with his boat. They do boat tours out here, and apparently that one that's having some troubles. It's kind of funny to watch, but it's been really noisy. Thought about asking him to keep it down over there with all of his boat troubles, but I figured that wouldn't go over very well. This composition I've set up on now, I framed up with my 150mm Nikon f5.6 lens again. I'm just taking a wide pano shot for the whole mouth of this glacier here. All of these glaciers are impressive, but this one's here. Shit. But when I showed up here, we were getting some dappled light. You're getting some dynamic light up on, some of the ice over here, and now that's gone. So I've taken 1 exposure. I was camping out, waiting to see if some of that would come back, but now it's over here, and it's been over there for quite a while, probably about 40 minutes. I don't know if it's coming back because the cloud's gotten really dense. So I have to give up on this one. I have 1 shot left on this roll. I thought if I could expose it here and get it used up, I may anyway. If I don't get any light, I'll just burn the shot and then pack up and move on. Because, yeah, clouds are getting pretty dense. So, and I got other things I want to do. It's, about an hour and a half before sunset. I don't want to commit to this for the rest of the night. So, give it another 5-10 minutes. We'll see.
The top frame was the earlier exposure, and it was a better moment in time since the larger gap in the sky was allowing more light to hit the glacier. But I did finish the roll after recording that video. But as I suspected in the field, the light was a lot flatter, and I hadn't noticed that more clouds had rolled in, obscuring details on the right side of the composition.
I'm at the Diamond Beach now, and I've been running around shooting compositions of these, chunks of ice that wash the shore, and trying to get them timed with the waves as they come in and recede. Not very original, but man, it's a lot of fun to shoot. So I'm having a great time. I'm having a blast. I don't care. It's just about at sunset right now, so I'm hoping to get some color in the clouds and getting some. The trick with this is finding a chunk of ice that's far enough up on the shore that you're not standing in the water or getting washed out to sea here. The tide's coming in, so you have to be mindful of that the entire time, because some of these waves get pretty big. They can come up and get you. So you gotta watch out for that. So you gotta find a chunk of ice that's close enough to the shore to where you're not standing in the water the whole time, but you don't want to be so far away that it doesn't get any wave action. I wanted to get a little bit of water around the chunk of ice and then recede back, but I don't want it so deep that it's going to wash my tripod away. So set my tripod nice and low, and I'm shooting a composition straight on at this chunk of ice, with the horizon in the background and the waves. Same thing you might have seen at this beach, a dozen times before. But I don't have it in my portfolio, and I think it's fun, and I think it looks great, so I'm going to shoot it. So the trick to getting this and not getting soaked is I've set my intervalometer on my camera to shoot 1 second intervals. That would go faster if I could, but it doesn't go any faster on a 5D Mark IV. Started out with shooting 10 images, but that ended up being too much because I started getting images that just weren't any good, just filling card space for nothing. So I set it to 5. So every time I hit the shutter, it takes 5 images in rapid succession. And what that does is it gives me enough time to run out of the way so I don't get my feet wet. It would be a really good location to have, knee-high waterproof boots like wellies or rubber boots or something, but I didn't put them on the plane, so of course I don't have them. I'm working with what I got here. So some of the clouds that have come in here are really heavy looking, and they don't appear to be getting any color, so I don't think I'm going to get much there. It's just kind of the steely blues and the black sand, and of course the super abstract looking crystal clear ice. I think that's enough to make a composition worth shooting. Super popular beach, really well visited location that's been shot 1 million times before, and now it's 1,000,001. And I'm happy to have it checked off my list. Yeah. So as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, sure help me out if you hit that thumbs up button down below. That really helps channels like mine out. Maybe while you're down there, consider hitting that subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me, more from Iceland. I got a few of them coming up. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next video.